Hi everybody, welcome. We are just about to start a new mini-series in our weekly kids videos about injustice, and I thought it might be worth doing a little introduction just so that we can have a chat about why we're doing this and what it means. So you've probably heard a lot of talk about injustice over the last couple of weeks, and some of you will be aware of the kind of things that have been on the news happening around our country and in America. And some of you might not be quite sure about what justice is or why people are talking about it and what's going on. So it'd be really good to have a chat at home with your family and the people that you live with about the events that are going on. But I just want to share a little bit about why we're doing this now. So some of you will be aware that recently a man was killed in America, and that has made a lot of people very sad and very angry. It has raised a lot of issues about injustice. The man was black and he was killed by white police officers, and the anger that people are feeling is because there has been a long history of black people being treated differently to white people and being treated worse and not getting a fair deal. Now, you might think, well, why have people only just started talking about this? Hasn't this happened before? Or why have people suddenly kind of kicked off because of one person's death? Well, sometimes people talk about things and there are problems that go on for a long, long time. And people talk about them and it's kind of in the public arena and people become aware of it and then it kind of dies down again. And the situation kind of rumbles on a little bit like that and nothing really changes. But then every now and again, one event is kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. It's one thing that makes people stand up and say, enough is enough. Now is the time that things have got to change. And so for a lot of people, this death in America is the thing that has made them say enough is enough. And so our question to ourselves and to each other as a church is, what do we do about this? What's our part in this? What's our part as Christians? What's our part as a church? And what is God calling us to in this situation? Now, we are really fortunate that we are part of a vibrant church that has lots and lots of different people in it. But sometimes we make mistakes, and sometimes without meaning to, we treat people differently because of the colour of their skin or because of where they come from. And that's not God's vision for the church. That's not God's vision for his world. And if you're somebody that has felt that you've been treated differently at church or in your groups, then I'm really, really sorry about that. And I want church for you to be a place where you come and you feel known and loved and you feel that you can be yourself. And I want that for every single one of you in our groups. And if you have ever felt like that, I just want to say one thing to you. Please, please don't judge God by our mistakes. We're human and we make mistakes sometimes, often without meaning to, but sometimes we do. And if you have ever felt unloved or ignored or different, that is not how God feels about you, because you are loved and valued and seen and known by God. And you must never ever let the actions of people or the mistakes of people make you feel that that is how God feels. You are a child of God, made in God's image. Always, always remember that. So our series that we're going to be looking at is going to look at issues of justice and what God's heart for justice is and what the Bible says about justice. You might, as we're going through this, relate that to the race issues that we're having at the moment and the injustices for Black people and people from ethnic minorities. Or you might be called to think about justice in a wider context, you might be called to think about what our responsibility is as Christians to bring justice in all sorts of different situations. So whatever this leads you to think about, I just pray that over these next few weeks that you would have a real deep and good understanding of what God's heart for justice is. And as we work through it together, I just pray that all of us would have a better sense of what God is calling us to and how we can act to make sure that our church and our community and our country and our world is a just and fair place for all the people that live in it.